Did you know 117 people are moving to Charlotte every single day? It's no wonder why this city is known as the fastest growing city in America. But with this rapid growth comes skyrocketing home prices and an intensifying housing crisis that has many buyers and sellers puzzled on exactly what to do. But don't worry, because in this video, I'll be breaking down the latest October 2024 market report just released from our MLS that'll give you the backdoor view of exactly what's happening. Now, before we begin, my name is Mitch. I'm a luxury real estate broker here in Charlotte in the Lake Norman areas, and I make videos just like this every single week to keep you up to date on all things real estate in the area. Now, if you're considering making a move, whether it's now or in the next 6 months or even 1 year, click the link below, fill out that simple form, and my team and I would love to be a resource for you. But let's get into it. Now, for those of you who follow my market reports before, I tracked 20 of the top submarkets in our area that you can see here on the screen. Now, as of October of 2024, you can see the total prices are up 6.8%, the average sale price across all 20 submarkets, even in this high rate environment, which is quite impressive. Now, a few things I wanted to point out. For the city of Charlotte, we are currently up, as you can see, 8.6%, with an average sale price now approaching $575,000. Outside of those other areas that may be of interest to you, you can see the top of the chart in green has the double-digit sale price growth from last year of 23 year-to-date versus this year-to-date. And you can see the largest one here is Mint Hill at 16% average price appreciation, which is just astounding. Now, all these prices here, right, that you see are continuing to rise, and we continue to see a big push, even in this challenging environment, in my opinion, for home affordability. So what exactly is happening? Well, as I mentioned in our intro, right, we have a significant population of people moving into our area, approximately 117 people a day. We also have another dynamic happening that is fairly new. Because of the recent major hurricanes, okay, that you're seeing in South Florida, a lot of people are starting also to reevaluate where they're living. So a lot of that migration that went south, we are starting to see some of that come here. Matter of fact, over the weekend, I just talked to a younger couple that I met. They had moved out of Fort Lauderdale. They're now here in Charlotte, relocated their entire family for that exact reason, because of the insurance premiums and the costs of homes now down there are starting to be so much that they're looking for a more affordable place. Now, even though these sale prices are very high to many of us that are living here, still, in relation to other major cities across the United States, in my opinion, we are still much lower, right? Versus like in LA, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago. We're still less expensive, which puts us in a very good position for growth. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about today is the price appreciation we saw from 4 years ago. As you can see here on the screen, I pulled the October year-to-date 2020 report, and the most shocking thing is the sale prices on average for all 20 of these submarkets went up 62% in 4 years. So that's on average, right? A 15% price appreciation across all 20 submarkets, which is astounding. Now, to put this into perspective for you, usually home prices appreciate 5% a year. So essentially in 4 years, we picked up 17 years of price appreciation in Charlotte. So a lot of people that I talk to that live here definitely sticker shocked, right? Because in 4 short years, much like a lot of parts of the country, we saw an astronomical boom in real estate prices, which is what you can see from this chart. You can see, look at Mint Hill, 90% increase in sale price in the last 4 years. Some other ones, the city of Charlotte, 73% jump. You know, the average sale price used to be $333,000 in the city of Charlotte. Significant price jumps there. So I wanted to level set us first on prices, right? Because this is very important to know that the prices here in Charlotte, they are not going down. So contrary to what you may hear in the news, contrary to what you may hear from your neighbor or your friends, the real estate market's going to crash. I'm here to tell you that will not happen here in Charlotte. We have too many demand and people moving into this area and not enough homes. There may be a slight drop in prices, maybe a slight, but you will not see a 2008. The market dynamics are completely different from that scenario that we saw in 08. People have astronomical amount of home equity in their homes. Believe me, we will not see a crash. Therefore, if you are a buyer looking to get in, I would suggest you do this sooner than later, because based on what we just saw with the new elect president, most likely, okay, we're going to see some of these interest rates start to come down. And when that happens, these sale prices are going to continue to surge because more buyers will be coming back into the market looking for homes. And again, you can see even at 7% interest rates, right, we picked up 7% price appreciation out of all 20 submarkets. Now, on the inventory front, as you can see here on the screen, for the same 20 submarkets, I pulled what's happening for the month supply of inventory. And you can see we are up 43.2%. Now, I want to pause right here and explain to you exactly what's happening. So last year, of course, and the year before that, we were at historic lows of inventory levels, historic, almost on life support. What's happening now is you're starting to see the inventory creep back up, okay, to starting to get to more normalized levels. Now, we are at 2.8 months supply for all 20 of these submarkets. And a balanced real estate market, meaning balanced for buyers and sellers, typically you'll see between 5 and 6 months of inventory. So we are still well below that, but we are up from last year. So why is this important? Well, you may hear from some friends, if they're listing their home right now, that it's taking longer to sell, okay? Yes, that's true. And the reason why is because we're up 43.2% in inventory versus last year. And you can see some of these submarkets, like look at Waxhaw, you know, up 91%, but look where it was in 24, only 1.2 months of inventory, which was absolutely historically low. So for a lot of these markets, right, we are still well below what I would consider the balance area, but we are starting to push back up. So keep in mind that if you are listing a home right now, okay, it's going to take longer to sell. What I mean by that, typically 35, 45 days is what's average right now in Charlotte to sell a property. So it's not going to be 2 weeks or a week like it used to be. It's getting more normalized to that 35, 45 day mark, which is why you're starting to see the inventory creep up, because as more homes come on the market and take longer to sell, you're seeing that inventory start to move. Now, another interesting piece of data I wanted to share with you from October is new listings. So the reason why, of course, the prices still remain high is there's just not enough inventory coming on the market. And when I look at the new listings chart, meaning the number of homes that are currently coming on, it's very eye-opening. So I pulled for the last 10 years, going back to 2014, and you can see that the new listings, right, in 2014 were about 12,128. Now, this is for Charlotte single-family homes only, so with a Charlotte address, about 12,000 listings. And that remained the same all the way through to about March of 2020. About that 12,500, 12,300 new listings being held every single month. Now, if you fast forward and you look what happened, we went to the lowest point of November 2023 at only 7,800 new listings. So about a 56% drop, okay? And then if you look at where we're at now, we're only at 8,600. So we're still well below that average of 12,000 or 13,000 new listings here for the city of Charlotte, which again is preventing, right, the sale prices from receding or pulling back some, because there's just not enough homes on the market to bring those prices down, just driven by the amount of demand that's chasing the amount of homes that are on the market. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on is an article I came across recently from PCG Group that talks about Charlotte's proximity in the drive for new business that's coming into the area to attract the young talent that's moving here. Now, as you can see here on their screen, Charlotte's location is ideal for an Eastern Seaboard company. Basically, you can fly anywhere to these major hubs, Boston, New York, DC, Chicago, Nashville, Atlanta, Miami, within 2 hours or less. And the Charlotte Douglas Airport can get you there very quickly. So there's no connecting flights. This makes it very attractive for many Fortune 500 companies and tech companies that we see moving into the area to attract not only the young talent, but also take advantage of the proximity. So you may have not have actually thought about that of Charlotte and where we're actually located, but we are smack dab in the middle of the Eastern Seaboard, which is making it very attractive for many U.S. companies. Now, also, the article talks about the difference between the cost of operating a company versus that of, let's say, New York. Now, you can see here on the screen, they did pull a New York versus North Carolina comparison. You can see for state corporate tax rate, right, We are about at 2.5%, and they're actually talking about abolishing that corporate tax rate by 2030 here in the state, which is wild. But in New York, you're almost up to 7.25, so big difference. You can see why a company would want to take advantage of almost a 10% break here in the Carolinas. Secondly, also the personal tax side, right? You've got 4.75 here in North Carolina, and it almost goes up to 11% in the state of New York, depending on where you are. That's a major implication and impact on employees. So you can see why people would want to be, relocated and move down here, because the cost of living and the taxes are huge change. And lastly, of course, is a square foot space for offices. Manhattan has seen its struggles lately with COVID, but it's still, don't get me wrong, very expensive, has one of the most expensive real estate in all the world. And companies are realizing that, especially with this work from home movement, you can get a smaller office space, not pay nearly as much price per square foot in a place like Charlotte. And as you can see, that's about $30 versus the average in New York, which is around $80 and well north of that. So I wanted to point this out to you because these are two major things also that's driving growth in our area that aren't going to leave. So these factors, okay, are also part of this, implication we're seeing here of why these home prices are going to continue to grow and continue to go up, because we are in a very unique spot in the country. So I hope you got a lot out of that market update for October of 2024. But again, my name is Mitch. If you have any questions, please click the link below, fill out that simple form. My team and I would love to jump on a Zoom call and be an assistance for you if you're relocating to the area. But do not forget to like and subscribe. We come out with more videos like this every single week to keep you educated on all things real estate here in Charlotte. But until next time, I'll talk to you soon.